everything right, it was you and me.
Hello everyone, my name is Naeema and welcome back to my channel. So today is day 7 of the 12 days of Christmas that I'm doing with my friend M here on BookTube. Basically, if you missed my last 6 videos, I'm uploading a video every single day until Christmas Day, which is the 25th, and I've been having so much fun doing it, and you guys seem to really like them as well, so I'm gonna keep going until Christmas. I'm loving this so much. Today's video is going to be slow burn romance recommendations for you guys. I asked on my story what recommendation videos you guys want to see from me, and a lot of you guys said slow burn and forced proximity, but slow burn won. Like, there was at least like 5 people who said slow burn, which, okay, sociopaths, like, I will give you what you want, but like, who wants that torture? Sometimes I really don't want like an insta love. I don't want like a midway. I want like at the very end, I want to be tortured, but that mood doesn't come around very often. So these vary from like slow burn, like excruciatingly slow, to like it's slow burn just because it's more of like middle end where they get together. So I formulated a list for you guys, and I'm very excited to talk to you guys about them today. So without further ado, let's get right into slow burn romance recommendations. So the first video that I'm going to recommend for slow burn romances is The Heir by Sophie Lark, and this one is pretty slow burn. I remember them first getting together at the like near end. This book was excruciating for me. So basically, if you have never heard me talk about this book and rave and rant about it, this book is about Leo and Anna. Anna is the child of the 2nd couple in the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark, and then Leo is the child of the 6th couple in the Brutal Birthright series. They are not related at all. Their families are really intertwined though. Their ties are really woven in together, but they're not blood related at all, and they were always raised as cousins. Their families are really woven in together, and they also grew up best friends. So it is their senior year of high school, and they are applying for colleges, and Anna really wants to go to Kingmakers, and Kingmakers is this mafia school for mafia children, like mafia bosses, and they're being trained to take over their family's mafias. So Anna really wants to go there. She wants to be in the highest division, and Leo can't do anything without Anna. He loves Anna. That is his best friend, and he decides to apply to Kingmakers as well. First of all, this atmosphere is amazing. If you still haven't read the Kingmakers, what are you doing? Like, this atmosphere is at this remote castle, and it's humongous, and it's so dark and beautiful, and just, it's everything that I love. So they get there, and the school is amazing, and the atmosphere is amazing. It really gives like dark academia vibes, and especially I know Sophie Lark drew a lot of inspiration from Harry Potter and Hogwarts, so yeah, I love the atmosphere so much. But when Leo gets there, he finds out that his cousin, who's estranged, also is going to this school, and he hates him, and it's basically his enemy. That really draws apart Leo and Anna. Leo is kind of like the big man on campus. Everyone loves him. They take part of these games called the 𝓵. He leads like his team to victory, which is the freshman year team. So I don't want to give any spoilers, but there are a lot of things that draw Anna and Leo apart. They aren't as close as they once used to be, and they're very kind of like split up in Kingmakers, so it does make for a very slow burn romance. Especially Anna starts to get super close to Dean, which is Leo's estranged cousin who hates him and is technically his enemy now. That's really hard to read about. This is like low-key a love triangle, I'd say, but not really, and Leo is just like the one for Anna, and Anna is the one for Leo, and it's a pretty excruciating slow burn for me. I did love though how all the other things made up for it, because if they were just pining after each other, I don't think I would have been able to stand it like I am with most slow burn. But there was so many exciting day-to-day school life. I was so like just engrossed by the atmosphere and everything else that was going on, so I didn't mind that there wasn't much of a romance between them until the very end, because it was really slow burn. This is an amazing slow burn romance book. I think you guys should definitely check it out if slow burn is something that you're into. The next book that I'm going to talk to you guys about today is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata, and I recently read this thanks to a few subscribers' recommendations, and you guys were so right. I ate this book up. It was so amazing, and this one felt like death. Like, this book felt like death, and I felt like I was dying and bleeding out with every page flip. Like, I was just wanted them to be together so badly. All Roads Lead Here follows this girl named Aurora, and Aurora has basically been on the road for a few months now, and she's really just trying to run away from her life out of a really bad relationship with this guy, and he is a famous country songwriter. Aurora has been through a lot in her life. She lost her mom when she was incredibly young. She really found solace within her relationship and her boyfriend's family, but they really just used her and used her and used her. When they do break up, Aurora's like, okay, well, what do I do now? So she starts traveling and going around the world, or going around the country, but she ultimately decides that she wants to go back to Colorado where she grew up with her mom. So she hasn't been back since her mom died, but she just really wants to feel safe and she really wants to just have a fresh start. So she goes back there and she is renting out a garage apartment from a guy named Tobias Rhodes. So she pulls up to the garage apartment, she goes inside, and Tobias Rhodes had no idea that who she was, what she was doing there, and it turns out that it's actually his son who really wanted to rent out the apartment garage for like a month while Tobias was gone for work, but he ultimately didn't end up going away for work. So he is pissed. He doesn't like Aurora. He's very pissed off at his son. It's like a grumpy like mountain guy who likes his privacy type thing, and he's just like, no, I don't want this random ass person staying in my garage. Like, no, who is this? Like, all of that. Ultimately, he decides to let Aurora stay, and that is when the slow burn begins. She starts meeting people and reuniting with people and getting a job, and also becoming close to Tobias's son, Amos. And just loving Amos. Like, it's such a cute friendship between them. He's like 16 years old, and I just love this story. Like, it is so slow burn. He is so grumpy. She is like the sunshine, but she also, it's really interesting because she is the sunshine character, but she's going through so much, and she has had so much emotional baggage and trauma, and it was really cool to see that she was still like really happy and bubbly while she was struggling so hardly. So yeah, this book was really, really good. Right away when I started reading, I was like, this book just feels so like warm and cozy, and like I felt really comforted by it, which I just love. I think it's whenever like I read mountain books, because like Credence, it felt like home to me also for some reason, and just like comforting. So I think it's whenever it's like mountainy and snowy, and it's like, I don't know, just like close relationships with people and exploring like deeper meanings in life. Like, I just feel like that's so comforting for me for some reason. So, and also it was really, really sad. Like, at the end there were a lot of things revealed, and it really broke my heart. Like, I was a mess. I was just sitting on my floor reading this book, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was just, tears were streaming down my face. It was so intense. Rhodes and Aurora's love just like resonated with me so deeply. It was so beautiful and pure, and I just love this book, and it was such a slow burn, and there were like some jealous moments, and I genuinely believed that Rhodes hated Aurora, but also there was just like little things, like he started calling her things like Angel, and it was just so cute. And Aurora's like, that is the second time he's got my name wrong. Like, do you not understand that he is calling you Angel right now? Like, I just love them so much together, and I really want to reread it. I wanted to reread it the next day that I finished it, like, because it was just so good and I couldn't get it off my mind. So I definitely recommend this. Obviously, Mariana Zapata is a slow burn queen, and all she writes is slow burn. So I really recommend, if you haven't read All Roads Lead Here, I definitely think you should. December and January, I feel like, are the times to read this book, just because that's the times that takes place in for this book, and it's just so special to me. I love this book. It's definitely become like one of my favorites for sure. The next book that I'm gonna recommend is Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin, and I recently read this and really, really enjoyed it. And this was not as slow burn as the books that I have told you guys about so far, but this one is definitely slow burn. So this is a part of the Midnight Dynasty universe, which is basically about two rivaling families, the Constantines and the Morellis, and they're just have like a lot of bad blood towards each other. This book specifically follows Tinsley Constantine, so she's one of the daughters of the Constantine family. The book starts off with her getting caught doing something that she isn't supposed to do, performing in a sexual manner with a guy that works at Taco Bell or something like that. And her mom, Caroline Constantine, she's like the matriarch of the family. She cares all about image and what her children are doing, and she finds out about this, and she's like, you know what, I just need to send you away. So she sends her away to this Catholic boarding school, and there works Father Magnus. And Father Magnus, he is very strong-willed, very hard, very strict. He's very strict with his punishments. If people do stuff out of line, he will punish them and send them away. And he is there working at the school. He basically bought the school, revamped the school, and he really wanted to become a priest because he had all these dark things in his past, and he just wanted to like get away from that. He was really into older women. That's why he thought it would be safe for him to be at this school, because it's obviously all younger women and he's never been tempted by them, whatever. You know how like the Catholic priest books go, obviously in real life I'd be like, what the hell, you know? So Tinsley goes there, and right away she's like, I don't want to be here. Tinsley's like really sweet and the nicest Constantine in my opinion, but if she doesn't want to do something, she is not going to do it, and she does not want to be at this school just because she wanted to discover who she was and her sexuality and all of that. Father Magnus does not like her energy, does not like her bad girl vibe. He's like, I will literally break you, like what are you doing? And they start off really rocky, and it's a good, she's always getting in trouble, always getting punished, and all throughout the book they really dislike each other, but obviously there's like a sexual attraction towards each other. It sizzles, it crackles, their chemistry is off the charts, and then finally they do get together, but I believe it was like closer towards like maybe the 60% mark. Tinsley is going through a lot while at this school. She just found out that she has to be a part of like an arranged marriage. People are bullying her. She's having a really hard time. She's very lonely, and Father Magnus is really there for her, and it's really sweet. He gets jealous a lot because there's like a neighboring all boys Catholic school, boarding school, and it's their sister school. They have like mass together, and guys are looking at her. Father Magnus is like, what are you doing? Pay attention. Like he's incredibly jealous and incredibly possessive over her and just wants the best for her, but also he doesn't like the disrespect. And it's really great. I really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and the steamy scenes were, I love the punishment scenes. The punishments weren't anything like super sexual. It was all in all just a fun time, and I just love books that are set in like a boarding school setting. I think that's really fun, just like living there where you go to school and all the drama and all that ensues. So this one is a really good slow burn romance. The next book that I'm going to talk to you guys about today is Shallow River by H.D. Carlton, and this book is really intense, so I really recommend that you guys look up the trigger warnings. I'll try to tell you what I remember just in case I've missed any triggers. You should definitely look into it. It deals with domestic abuse, domestic violence, and that's all I can really remember. Just like harm, possibly, just like violence in general. Like this book is a lot. So the book starts off with our main character, River. River has met the love of her life, Ryan, or so she thinks. She's in a relationship with Ryan and everything is dandy. She thinks that she's going to marry him. She's in love with him, but years into the relationship, she realizes that that is not the case at all. Ryan is incredibly abusive and toxic and horrible to her and treats her like garbage and is just awful. But obviously in a toxic, abusive relationship, she loved him. She didn't want to leave him at all. When Ryan takes River to go meet his family, Ryan's brother is there, and River was confused because she was like, what? You never mentioned that you had a brother at all. And his name is Mako. So Mako and Ryan don't get along at all. They don't talk to each other. They never see each other. They hate each other. And Mako doesn't like Ryan because he knows how depraved he can be. Mako has seen him and his old girlfriends and how he is with them, and Mako knows that he's incredibly abusive and toxic and just like a horrible person. So obviously when Mako meets River, he wants to help her. He's like, I know what's going on. You really shouldn't be with him. If you want to leave, I'm here. But ultimately he let her just make that realization on her own. Throughout all of this, Mako is actually in love with River. So Mako and River met in the very beginning of the book. In the prologue, River was out dancing with a friend, and there was a guy who was dancing with her. She never saw his face, and that was Mako, which you learned right in the beginning. This is not a spoiler. So River never saw Mako, but Mako did see River, so he recognizes her right away. And this is obviously a romance between Mako and River, and this one is incredibly slow burn because so much of the romance was Ryan and River's relationship and how toxic and abusive Ryan was and what she's going to do. But I really love this book because River is such a strong heroine. She grew up on the side of town. It's really rough, gang violence and drug abuse, just horrible things that have happened to her and her family. Her mom is a drug addict who never really took care of her. She let men come in and do whatever with River. So yes, also trigger warnings for sexual assault. So River is incredibly strong-willed and she knows how to fight back. So yeah, this romance book was a lot about River and Ryan and how strong-willed she is and how long it took for her to like actually leave him. When she was finally done, Mako was there to pick up the pieces. So this book was incredibly slow burn and it was hard to read about, and I actually found some more triggers. So incest, sexual assault, drug abuse, domestic violence. That's all I wrote down in my Goodreads review. But yeah, this book was a lot. I definitely think you guys should give it a try if you like slow burn romances and just like stories about strong women who overcome things. And River has had to overcome so many things in her life, so I really love this book. And the last book that I'm going to talk to you guys about today is one that has been incredibly popular, and it is one of my favorite books of the entire year, and that is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This book, Oh my gosh, this is excruciating for me. This book is about Olive, and Olive is a third-year PhD student. Is incredibly smart. She's like a scientist. I really still don't even know what she does, but she works some way in science, like bio. I don't know. Chemistry, bio, something. She works with science. Olive was dating this guy who also works with her, student with her. She realized quickly that this guy was not for her and she wasn't really into the relationship, and he felt the same. A few months go by and her best friend really likes this guy and really wants to go out with him, and Olive was like, why don't you just go out with him? Like, you're really into him, just do it. And Olive's friend is like, no, like, you dated him, like, that's just wrong. Like, I bet you're probably still like into him. And Olive is like, no, that's not true. I'm actually dating someone right now. And she comes up with this huge lie and like spinning things out of proportion. And she's like, I even have like a date with him tomorrow. So Olive lies in order to get her friend to go out with the guy that she really liked. Basically, the next day, Olive is at the lab when she's supposed to be on her date, and her friend walks in and sees her. Olive freaks out and kisses the guy nearest to her, which happens to be Adam Carlson. So Adam Carlson is a young professor in her program who everybody hates. He is incredibly hard on people. He is a harsh grader and nobody really likes him. So when they kiss, Olive explained why she did it and she's freaking out. And the next day her friend is like, why did I see you kissing Adam Carlson? Please don't tell me he's the one you're dating. And Olive is like, oh, actually I am. Adam agrees to start fake dating Olive in order to get her friend off of her back. And it is such an amazing slow burn romance with a guy who falls first. This was so excruciating for me because so many times I was like, okay, this would be a perfect moment to kiss now. Okay, this would be a perfect moment to kiss now. And they literally never do it. And it drives me crazy and it drives me insane. And it is quite simply so good. Slow burn burned. Like burned, and I was just wanting them to be together so badly, and it was so great. And I'm really obsessed with Adam. He is one of my favorite heroes of all time. He is just like such a sweet soul and super nurturing, who genuinely cares so much about Olive, takes his job incredibly seriously, and he has been pining after her for years, which you will find out about when if you read this book, or if you've already read it. I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's just such a special book to me. I love this book, and this is one where I was like, okay, the slow burn is worth it. There were like 2 steamy scenes at the very end, which I was completely fine with because I was so invested and I cared so much about these two lives, and I was rooting for Olive and her own personal career and development. And same with Adam. I was like, why does everybody hate you? Like, I just want to know what it is, because you're incredibly sweet. Like, I love you. He's a little bit awkward, a little bit nerdy, obviously, but he is so sweet, and I love them together so much. Slow burn is definitely worth it with this one. So that was the last book that I'm going to recommend for slow burn romances. Again, slow burn romances aren't ones that I actively seek out for, but you guys seem to really enjoy them. I hope you guys enjoyed these recommendations and were able to find books to add to your TBR. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a big like and a comment down below, and also subscribe so you never miss another upload from me. And I will see you tomorrow with a new video. Bye!
If I got one thing right, it was you and